This episode of Marijuana Today Daily is brought to you by our exclusive multi-state cannabis operator sponsor, Trulieve, one of the nation's top vertically integrated medical and wellness cannabis operators with 53 local dispensaries, 15 cultivation sites, and 24 processing facilities operating in 17 states. You can learn more about Trulieve over at curaleaf.com with Trulieve spelled Curaleaf. That's curaleaf.com. Good morning, Marijuana Nation. It's Thursday, April 9th, 2020, and you're tuned in to episode 912 of Marijuana Today Daily. I'm your host, Shay Gunther, and I'll be walking you through today's marijuana news and headlines. As always, we have a full and busy day of cannabis news in our hands, so let's jump right into it. We lead off today with a very sad story. Yesterday, news broke that 13-year-old marijuana activist and patient Charlotte Figi, the namesake for the well-known cannabis strain Charlotte's Web, has died from complications suspected to be caused by the coronavirus. Charlotte and her family lived in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and she was just 3 years old when her parents started using high CBD oil to treat her for the more than 300 daily seizures she suffered as a result of a condition called Dravet syndrome. After she started using CBD oil, the number of seizures she experienced was reduced to just a few each month. That led to the development of the high CBD strain Charlotte's Web, as well as the company by the same name. Charlotte and her family's story have inspired millions, and the world is a better place because of them. We return to Massachusetts for this next headline as the state's governor is being sued by a handful of adult use marijuana businesses seeking the reversal of the much criticized decision he made last month to close adult use marijuana dispensaries even as medical shops are allowed. Governor Charlie Baker said he took the move to cut down on out-of-state residents coming across borders to shop at adult use stores, but critics say the shuttering is negatively affecting scores of people who are legitimate medical patients, but who, for whatever reason, do not want to register with the state, to say nothing of regular adult use consumers who now only have illicit market options. The lawsuit was filed in Boston and is backed by the marijuana companies Ascend Mass, ComCan, the Green Lady Dispensary, Mass Grow, and Slang, doing business as Bloom Brothers. You can pop over to Marijuana Business Daily for more here and to read the court-filed documents yourself. As always, we have all the news we cover linked to on our website at mjtodaydaily.com. Our final top story today is a piece by Kyle Yeager over at Marijuana Moment on a new letter just sent out by a group of the nation's leading marijuana industry associations to governors and state treasurers, asking them to help legal marijuana businesses because of the federal government's complete abandonment of the industry, as we've been covering here extensively over the last few days. Not only are so-called plant-touching state legal cannabis companies barred from receiving any kind of federal relief because of the coronavirus pandemic, but any business that is even associated with the industry, such as my own very small publishing company, is also barred from getting help. That pushed the National Cannabis Industry Association, the Marijuana Policy Project, the Minority Cannabis Industry Association, the Cannabis Trade Federation, the National Cannabis Roundtable, and the Global Alliance for Cannabis Commerce to send their letter, which you can read in full over at Marijuana Moment. Those are the top stories for today. It's time for Marijuana Today Daily Headlines Blitz. Before we blitz out in headlines, let's quickly thank our sponsor, Trulieve, one of the nation's top multi-state cannabis operators with 53 local dispensaries, 15 cultivation sites, and 24 processing facilities operating in 17 states. Everyone at Trulieve wants you to know that they are dedicated to continuing to meet the needs of their patients, customers, and employees during these turbulent times. Trulieve has been deemed an essential business in all of the states it operates in and is taking steps like opening earlier for exclusive shopping hours for older customers, as well as setting up reservation systems that reduce the number of people in their dispensaries at any one time. You can learn more about how Trulieve is responding to the coronavirus pandemic over at their website found at curaleaf.com, with Trulieve spelled Curaleaf. Big thanks to everyone at Curaleaf for the sponsorship that makes this show possible and for their long-running support of worthy organizations like the Veterans Cannabis Project, which fights to increase the access to medical marijuana by military veteran patients. You can learn more about that over at vetscp.org. All right, time for the Blitz. Deborah Borchardt over Green Market Report has a good story about the just released financials from Florida-based company Trulieve, which is bucking today's industry norm by announcing positive net income rather than tens of millions of dollars in losses. So that's nice. As Deborah's reporting, Trulieve had revenue of just under $80 million for the quarter ending December 31st, up 13% from the previous quarter and 146% from the same quarter in the previous year. That shook out to an adjusted EBITDA of $45 million on the quarter and $132.5 million on the year. With another story up, Deborah covers the steep drop in the stock price of Canadian marijuana company Hexo following the announcement that it was raising a new round of funding valued at $40 million. Hexo's stock dropped around 20% on the news, falling to around 54 cents a share, quite a ways off of its 52-week high of $8.40. Returning to Massachusetts for a headline, we have the state's Cannabis Control Commission issuing a new order that will allow the state's shuttered adult use businesses to supply medical shops, which are still permitted to operate under pandemic closings. Governor Charlie Baker's orders to close adult use businesses thankfully does not extend to cultivators who are being allowed to continue growing and harvesting their crops, which now can be transferred into the medical program. Kushko Holdings just released their latest financial results for its second fiscal quarter ending on February 29th. The company said its net revenue for the quarter dropped 14% from the same quarter last year to $30.1 million, with an adjusted EBITDA loss of $14.8 million, up from the $6.7 million KushCo lost the year before that. New Cannabis Ventures has more here if you need it. Regulators in Oregon are cutting shoppers some slack by allowing for the use of expired IDs to purchase alcohol or legal marijuana. Oregon has closed down its Department of Motor Vehicles as a result of the pandemic and just announced that anyone with an ID expiring on or after March 8th can still use that ID to prove their age when purchasing booze or bud. Voters in Anchorage, Alaska just voted down a proposal to allow marijuana dispensaries to open up space for customers to consume cannabis. The measure was voted down in a robust fashion with just 35% voting in favor against 65% opposed. With her third headline on the day, Deborah Borchardt has a very interesting piece about the sad saga and long-running storyline that is Mass Roots, the company that was once the most hyped legal cannabis startups on the block that evolved into a cash-hungry devourer of resources that was at once a social network, business listing site, compliance and regulations manager, and even a blockchain something or other. Deborah's story picked up on a lawsuit filed by the Securities and Exchange Commission against a cabal of investors who stand accused of conspiring to manipulate the price of public Mass Roots shares for profit. The juiciest part of the story involves a Mass Roots executive who's been named as founder and CEO Isaac Dietrich over at New Cannabis Ventures, who the SEC said conspired with the stock manipulators being sued by giving them certain bits of information helpful to their shady endeavors. Definitely give this one a read, if only to escape for a moment these trying times. Those are the headlines and news for the day. I'll be back with you again tomorrow morning with another information-packed episode of Marijuana Today Daily. But in the meantime, if you have any stories to share or feedback to give, zip us an email to headlines@mjtodaydaily.com. And while you're clicking around the interwebs, swing over to our website at mjtodaydaily.com to find links to all the news we cover. Thanks to our sponsor, Curaleaf, and to our awesome Patreon listeners for the support that makes this show possible. To join the illustrious ranks of the Patreon listeners yourself, swing over to our website at mjtodaydaily.com and click on that big blue button at the top of the page that says Become a Patron. I'm your host, Jay Gunther. Thanks for tuning in and starting your day with marijuana today.
One take, Shay. One take.